Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're talking about cursors. The cursors tell you what is active in Excel at any given time. This arrow is what is used along the ribbons and the menus. When you get in a cell and you click it inside the worksheet, you get the default cursor, which is the selection cursor. You can click and drag to select a group of cells. When the cursor moves to the border of those selected cells, you get a different style. That's the move cursor. And now I can click and drag all of those cells to a new location. The next cursor happens down in the lower right-hand corner of selected cells. It's this black crosshair cursor, and when you click and drag down, it will copy the cells that you selected. So west north gets copied over and over again. Control Z to undo. The next cursor is up on the column header. You get this black arrow. You can click and select an entire column, or you can click and drag and select multiple columns. On the edge of each column, the cursor changes to a resize tool. So all of these hashtags mean that this column isn't wide enough to show the values. If you move the cursor to the edge and you double click, it will automatically update to give the width so that every value in that column can be clearly seen. If you select multiple columns at once and resize it, they will all change to the same size. You can also click a column, hold down the control key, click another column, and then you can resize just those two, and the rest were not resized. Select all of your columns and double click, and it will resize all of them to what it feels is the optimum width. One more cursor happens up in the formula bar. That's the text editor cursor. It's an I-beam cursor. It's in the named range box, any place where you could type. If you double click in a cell, you also get a text editor that can be used. And the last cursor that becomes important, let me go back to the sort tab. On this sort, let me double click in this cell to activate it. I had selected this array, just those two columns. If I go down to any one of these handles in the edge, I can modify how much data gets sorted. Watch what happens now when I activate it. Now I have 3 columns active, or I could make it just those 2 columns. One thing to note in this worksheet is this header that says sales report. You try to click on cell E1, notice that this entire rectangle is selected. That's a merged cell. Those can cause a lot of problems. Let me show you why. If I try to select my column that contains the years, when I get to that header, my selection automatically updates to the widest range of cells needed. And since that merged cell goes from column A to column E, it's going to select all of the data. Merged cells are really a nightmare in data analysis. So if you click on sales report and then we'll unmerge it, now I've got 5 different cells again, and the value went to the leftmost cell, the sales report. There is an option where I can make the report look good and it won't mess with my data. So if I select those 5 cells and then instead of merging, pop out the alignment menu and go to the horizontal alignment, there is an option to center across the selection. So take the value in the leftmost cell and center it across all of those. Notice that it's different than merging because I still have 5 individual cells, but it looks the same as a merged cell. And now if I select a column of data, it doesn't expand. More note before we leave the topic of cursors, there are specialty cursors, such as the pencil cursor that we saw when we were drawing a line color. There's also a format painter, so if I choose this cell which has formatting in it and I go to the format painter and I click on it, when I bring my cursor back, I now have this specialty arrow with the format paintbrush on it, and whatever cells I click and select will be formatted like the cell that was selected. Let me undo that. Whatever cell is chosen, format painter, and then come to this cell, it's got the same font color, and notice that it's got the underlining that that cell had.